Crazy, far-right, the Whig, controversial, the Lion, radical, and libertarian are some of the words used to describe him.
Javier Milei es un líder desquiciado e ignorante.
A la mayoría de los argentinos no les importa nada que su nuevo presidente sea un mentiroso, sea un violento, sea un retrógrado, etcétera, etcétera.
Ha ganado un descerebrado que ha canalizado como nadie el descontento social en clave reaccionaria.
Argentina always succeeds, becomes wealthy, and then goes to socialism and destroys itself.
Watching all of this unfold has really just made me wish that we also had a president that was calling out the woke BS in our society right now.
Bueno, yo creo que ha ganado un lunático. Creo que ha ganado un tipo que habla con su perro a través de un medium, un tipo que, bueno, pues que quiere privatizar y vender a cachito su país, un tipo que ha reducido el Estado a mínimos, está reduciendo ministerios por activa y por pasiva. Sin embargo, los ministerios fundamentales, es decir, los ministerios como la educación, la sanidad, esos ministerios se los está cargando. Y los ministerios de represión, los ministerios que tienen que ver con, bueno, pues con la seguridad, con el interior, con la inteligencia, todos esos ministerios los va a mantener y los ministerios, digamos, de políticas sociales se los va a cargar, ¿no?
Crazy, far-right, the Whig, controversial, the Lion, radical, and libertarian are some of the words used to describe him. Before becoming president of Latin America's second largest economy, Javier led a multifaceted life. He was a soccer player in the 80s, an economist, and part of a rock and roll band called Everest.
We should definitely talk about Argentina. Javier Milei is a friend of mine. He is a breath of fresh air. I mean, he's Trump times 10. This guy is the real deal. He's blunt. He's a patriot. He's an anti-globalist.
Todos los periódicos, es interesante, de todo signo, de todo color, han utilizado los adjetivos descalificativos que ustedes se pueden imaginar, los más burdos, los más soeces, los más comunes, los más extraños para referirse al presidente electo de la Argentina. Por ejemplo, uno de ellos, el más utilizado, el ultra Milei, por ejemplo, que utilizaba el diario El País, pero, por ejemplo, el ultraderechista también es otro que se utiliza en otros diarios, como les digo, de otro signo político. Por ejemplo, ABC era uno de los periódicos que utilizaba este adjetivo para referirse al presidente electo argentino.
He is the exact opposite of really any kind of politician that we have seen here that is even close to being president of the United States. Even Donald Trump. Donald Trump still plays within some of the norms. He is often compared, this guy in Argentina is often compared to Donald Trump, but I don't think they're comparable.
I think just because he's outspoken. Like that seems to be the largest similarity there, right? Like he's super outspoken, but he describes himself as an anarcho-capitalist, which is not how Donald Trump would describe himself at all.
Not at all.
Lo que me ha dicho una chica hoy por Instagram preocupada en Argentina. Me dice, Milei es un caos. Mis padres votaron Milei por un cambio y para bajar la inflación. Pero lo que no entienden es que se van a quedar sin medicación. Mi papá es diabético e hipertenso y necesita medicación de por vida, ahora subsidiada por el Estado y que Milei quiere recortar. Mi mamá está operada de un tumor.
Esto lo ha dicho.
Para empezar, eso
va a ocurrir de verdad que va a quitar.
Él ha dicho que quiere efectivamente hacer estas políticas de reducción del Estado.
Y en este caso, lo terrible de la Argentina es que la oposición le tocó a un chiflado, con perdón del señor presidente, pero que por alguna razón pareció representar mucho mejor el cabreo que sentían millones de argentinos que los otros señores de derecha o así. Pero perdón, no es por su discurso de extrema derecha que ganó, es por ser disparatado, violento, descuidado en las formas, ignorante. Se reivindicaba su ignorancia.
Pero
cuando perdió el debate con Massa, mucha gente dijo, lo voy a votar porque se nota que no es un político de esos que saben todo y no sé qué. Es otra cosa que la derecha internacional.
Good news from Argentina. Last night, Argentina shocked the world by electing a libertarian outsider named Javier Milei. Now, Milei is by far the most entertaining person in the world. I mean, like, on the planet.
His name is Javier Milei, and he is nicknamed the Madman, and he is quite a character. He got his start as a media personality, and he just recently joined politics. Sound familiar to anybody? Some people have already started to compare him to Trump, but I truly think that he is just amazing and different in his own right, and honestly, he might even be better than Trump.
Javier Milei es un líder desquiciado e ignorante. ¿Por qué? Es desquiciado porque ha dicho frases como la siguiente, abro comillas, zurdos de mierda, somos superiores moralmente, productivamente y estéticamente. Gente de escasos recursos tiene falencia mental, cierre comillas, en el sentido de por qué no pueden acceder a bienes provistos por el Estado. Básicamente Milei dice, vaya y haga lo que usted pueda en el mercado.
I am Roger Stone. I am a a veteran of American Republican politics, specifically a veteran of 13 national Republican presidential campaigns, having worked for Presidents Richard Nixon, Ronald Reagan, George Bush, and of course, Donald Trump. I'm an enormous fan of your new president. I think Milei is very much like Trump in many ways, in the sense that he's genuine, he's authentic, he is provocative, he is blunt, and I think he understands something President Richard Nixon told me a long time ago, that the only thing worse in politics than being wrong is being boring, and he's never boring.
La victoria de Milei es la mayor de las derrotas latinoamericanas de las últimas décadas. Ha ganado un descerebrado que ha canalizado como nadie el descontento social en clave reaccionaria. Los resultados de Milei son los mejores en Argentina para un candidato desde la primera victoria de Perón en 1946. Y es que las fuerzas de progreso en momentos de incertidumbre les puede salir mal jugar a la gestión responsable, la respetabilidad institucional y el buen tono, cuando enfrente tenemos a lunáticos ciegos de odio capaces de agitar el avispero contra cualquiera con ansias de justicia social.
Later on, he rose to prominence as the leader of the political party La Libertad Avanza and gained attention in politics for his provocative style. Milei identifies as a proponent of the economic liberalism and adheres to the Austrian school of economic thought, which advocates minimal government intervention in the economy and deregulation of the markets. Some of Milei's key proposals are as follows. He strongly advocates for dollarizing Argentina's economy and intends to shut down the central bank, holding it responsible for the country's high inflation.
Have you seen the video of him walking in front of the whiteboard and he's just pulling off the stickers of all the different agencies, like the Department of Families and Health, God, like every single one, he's just pulling off and throwing it away. Now, look, is he going to do those things? I hope so. Probably a lot of those agencies are incredibly pointless, just as they are here. Now, not knowing the full story of the structure of the Argentinian government.
He won a huge victory yesterday in Argentina's presidential election, vowing to halt decades of economic decline in a country reeling from triple-digit inflation. Inflation right now is at 143%, which means that pretty much every day, everything gets more expensive, and that becomes a spiral. Milei's main platform has been a plan to ditch the peso for the US dollar and dynamite the central bank to do away with the cancer of inflation. Now, the problem is they don't have enough dollars to inject into the economy right away. So in order to really do that, they're going to have to reestablish credit worthiness. They're probably going to have to borrow a bunch of new money from the IMF, from the International Monetary Fund. However, Milei is just the guy to do this sort of stuff.
Decía Gerardo TC en Twitter, los argentinos siempre han sido los mejores publicistas del mundo. Ahora se les ha ocurrido hacer un spot para que el mundo vea lo que pasa cuando te gobierna un ultraderechista zumbado. Y Carlos Sánchez Mato en X, solo espero que Milei aplique su programa íntegramente, que elimine el Banco Central, que dolarice la economía, que reduzca el 90% los impuestos, que elimine los subsidios a los más pobres y que privatice la salud y la educación. Y ya de paso, que haga homenajes a Videla y que luego el pueblo se levante. Y es que quizá la victoria de un tarado fanatizado sirva para vacunar al mundo de la teoría libertaria en una época en la que esta se ha convertido en la tesis ideológica de moda, fundamentalmente en jóvenes sin certezas ni rumbo y adictos a YouTube.
Digamos con estas estupideces y en lugar de ser 140, vamos a hacer la villa miseria más grande del
He's so good. Who cares about all of this socio-culture gender BS, all of your weird woke political ideologies, when our economy is tanking, when people can't afford to even live in our country, and you're concerned with that?
This is worthless.
It's less than worthless, my boy.
That should be the energy that we in our country have as well. But I think that we are also a little too concerned with the socio-political nonsense.
Por eso es desquiciado, porque es ignorante. Porque el Índice de Desarrollo Humano del año 2022 establece que en primer lugar está Suiza, después Noruega, Islandia, Hong Kong, Australia, Dinamarca, Suecia, Irlanda, Alemania y Holanda. Todos, menos Hong Kong, todos son estados de bienestar con impuestos sobre el PIB superiores al 28%, el promedio 34%. Por lo tanto, cuando dice zurdos de mierda, ustedes son ignorantes, es todo lo contrario.
Alguien dígale a este señor que mire el Heritage Index, que mide la libertad económica en los países. Suiza, puesto número 2. Noruega, 12. Islandia, 19. Hong Kong no mide. Australia, 13. Dinamarca, 9. Suecia, 10. Irlanda, 3. Alemania, 14. Holanda, 8. Se quiso hacer el canchero y terminó demostrando que todos los países que él nombró como supuestamente países de izquierda están entre las economías más liberales del mundo. Le salió mal. Le dio la razón a Milei.
Milei is a lot.
General ANCAP is presumably a reference to his political philosophy of anarcho-capitalism, a strand of libertarianism that seeks to abolish the state in favour of unfettered free markets. And he campaigned on heavy cuts, suggesting slashing public spending by 15% of GDP and eliminating most taxes. He also has a controversial plan to swap the country's currency for the US dollar, has said he wants to blow up the central bank, and has even smashed models of it in one of his videos, and also in piñata form on TV. He's also symbolised his desire to slash the government by waving chainsaws around in public, an image his supporters have run with, wearing chainsaw masks to vote for him, and even while doing interviews.
And he understands that you have to entertain the voters in order to get their attention. Then you can sell them on your ideas. But if you're not entertaining them, then they'll look elsewhere. The worst thing is to bore the voters. So his use of symbolism, his use of the chainsaw, his blunt language, his love of costumes, his affinity for rock and roll, and his unabashed commitment to free men, free women, free markets, and to opposing the authoritarian state that threatens to destroy all of our liberties, it's refreshing. And clearly the people of Argentina have reacted very positive. So as I say, it's a great day, both here in the United States and there in Argentina.
So there is some nuance here in his libertarian worldview. He takes soft approaches to, for example, trans rights. He supports gay marriage. He says, go ahead and sell your organs if you want, that the state should have nothing to do with that. But underpinning his rise is that anger.
Here is Javier Milei recently in an interview about the left. And man, he's the most memeable person alive.
Al zurdo de no le podés dar ni un milímetro. No se negocia con esa mierda, no se negocia porque te
You don't negotiate with trash because they will end you. This guy is begging for Argentina to make great friends with the United States. If Biden somehow rejects that on behalf of international leftism, it demonstrates full scale the impact of a foreign policy rooted in leftist nonsense.
Watching all of this unfold has really just made me wish that we also had a president that was calling out the woke BS in our society right now. But like I said at the beginning, this is very positive. I am very, very happy for Argentina because they have lacked a good leader like this for so long.
Argentina always, succeeds, becomes wealthy, and then goes to socialism and destroys itself. Yeah. And then, goes back to its roots, and then it destroys itself. So he did that in the 80s. He restored it in the 1980s. Well, they're back. But
I mean, look, the promise is high here. I do hesitate. There's a lot of ifs that could happen here, right? Like, I don't know everything about this guy. Who knows what policy he actually implements when he's in office? What crazy thing we don't know about him? Who knows?
Pero es curioso lo que sucede con la palabra libertario. El propio Milei se define a sí mismo como un libertario. Y aquí, en los titulares en la prensa española, se utiliza como una descalificación. Por ejemplo, el Diario Público hablaba de un perfil claramente antidemocrático. Más o menos venía a deslegitimar las elecciones en Argentina, esa victoria con nada más y nada menos que 14,5 millones de votos. Lo mismo hacía El País, comparándolo con Donald Trump y con Jair Bolsonaro. Decía que era aún peor.
La prensa empresarial existe para debilitar a candidatos de izquierda. Todos los periodistas de la prensa empresarial son los supuestos árbitros con un sesgo enorme a favor de candidatos como Milei. Milei no es un político tradicional. Viene de las redes sociales, de sus shows que hacía en TikTok, que hacía en Instagram, y saltó al mundo de la política mediante programas como este de A24. O sea, Milei está con periodistas amigos. Imagínense cómo sería si un político de izquierda atacado por un conductor sesgado como el señor Trevor comentara cosas de esa manera. Pero cuando tienen una persona que es de su gusto, un extremista que solamente está ahí para defender los intereses de los dueños de canales como A24, mira cómo lo tratan.
Yo creo que acá hay declaraciones que son buenísimas. Ministro que me gasta más lo hecho. ¿Cómo me encantaría que eso pasara en Chile? Le faltó decir que roba. Caso fundaciones o cualquiera que meta la mano, lo hecho. Me encantaría. 2, privatización a la chilena. Mervin.
Javier Milei está diciendo algo tremendamente importante porque efectivamente el equilibrio fiscal es fundamental. Cuando los países van con forados fiscales grandes en el tiempo, finalmente se les producen eventos que son poco deseables en la historia. Esto ha pasado muchas veces. O sea, pensemos solo en la Revolución Francesa, el forado fiscal era más grande que el cráter de Arizona.
The anger is really, really important. And when Trump goes on and says, well, never mind my mean tweets, like I'm angry about stuff and you should be too. Now he goes to cartoonish overreach when he does it and he preys on our basest instincts, but he's out there identifying problems that a lot of people see every day and that Democrats are saying don't exist.
Como creemos en la democracia, tenemos que respetar que a la mayoría de los argentinos no les importa nada que su nuevo presidente sea un mentiroso, sea un violento, sea un retrógrado, etcétera, etcétera. A mí, mi problema en este momento no es si es que tengo algún problema con Milei, sino con la Argentina. Pero bueno.
Y ahora, si está Navarro, ¿nos podría usted explicar qué hace usted en España? No tiene que preparar la segunda vuelta de las elecciones.
Pues sí, Wyoming sí, pero la lucha contra el surderío nunca descansa. Y por lo que me ha dicho mi amigo Abascal, este programa es uno de los mayores nidos de ratas izquierdistas que radicales que tenéis acá en España. Pero eso, se acabó. Después de patear el orto de Massa en la segunda vuelta, pienso instaurar la libertad y acabar con todas las lacras del comunismo. Los impuestos se acabaron. La educación pública se acabó. La sanidad se acabó. El sol, fuera también. Y el oxígeno, quien quiera respirar, que lo pague.
Here's maybe my favorite Milei video. There are a bunch of them that are just spectacular. And if you've never seen a picture of Milei, he looks like dorky Wolverine. It's amazing. And he's famously suggested that he's not cut his hair since high school. He's a very kind of Trumpy character in his own personal life. He used to talk pretty openly about being like a tantric sex guru and all the rest of this kind of stuff. It's hysterical stuff. This is the video that probably of him has gone the most viral. His Ministry of Sports and Tourism, out. Ministry of Culture, fuera. Ministry of the Environment and Sustainable Development, out. Ministry of Women, Genders and Diversity, out. Out. The theory of politics is over. Long live damn liberty. Ugh. He's great.
He, at some level, he's still a South American politician, so I'm going to hold out hope. But the things he said are really good, really positive. If he actually does them, if they work, it could be an incredible thing. I mean, you know, it might inspire countries all in the region and all over the world to replicate that process. So there's really high hopes for someone who would come in and actually do this.
Porque aquí una cosa clara, la ineficiencia no se puede pagar con los impuestos de ustedes. Ustedes no tienen por qué financiarle el sueldo a aquellos funcionarios públicos que no son capaces de generar riqueza para el país. Yo entiendo que las empresas públicas tienen que existir, pero si no son capaces, bueno, tendrán que hacerlo los privados.
The fight continues for Javier Milei, far-right populist who wants to see spending slashed. The chainsaw has become a symbol of this pledge.
Milei is something different that hasn't been tested before.
Okay. Not to break my one rule and argue with a guy dressed as a chainsaw, but lots of ideas haven't been tested before. We also haven't tried all trampoline retirement homes or letting a raccoon be chief of surgery. That's because some ideas are just bad.
Somebody commented and said, Trump will enjoy working with Javier in Argentina. I mean, yes. Like if Trump gets elected again, can you just imagine the videos that would come out of him and Javier? It would be fantastic. Like not only would they make true political waves together, but the viral content. Like we are starved for good entertainment after spending the last 4 years watching a president be in cognitive decline. This is the kind of content that we need. This is what I want to be seeing on my Twitter feed.